My team found an airline pilot on LinkedIn who agreed to meet with me, a first officer at a regional subsidiary of United Airlines, and his name was Moody. I asked if I could just watch him, to observe his daily routine. If I was going to come up with some sort of rehearsal to train pilots, I first needed to understand how their minds worked. Do you have to eat a certain thing before you fly?
No.
That's such an autistic question. I remember when I was dating around, the first question I would ask someone is, what is your comfort meal right now? That's so funny.
There's no like quick release or something?
See, this is how I know when someone is an actual autistic that's aware of their autism versus someone who's not. Because people think that Nathan's putting on a character, like an awkward character in moments like this. When in reality, as an autistic that's aware of her autism and has a good relationship with her autism, when I see Nathan in these moments, I know he's not putting on an act. He is genuinely observing this pilot guy and trying to understand the why behind everything he does and how does one thing affect another thing that he's going to go through. For example, Nathan's probably watching him right now, and instead of just being like, oh, he's struggling with a thing, Nathan's probably dissecting it and being like, how's this guy gonna problem solve this one thing? Most people wouldn't care to put this thing away. They would just leave it and let the maids deal with it. But this guy is actually taking extra time to figure out how to put it away. So what does that say about this guy's character? That he has integrity, that he cares, that he will take some time to figure something out, not because he has to, but because it's important to him. You know, this is probably a guy that leaves good tips for his waiters. This is probably a guy who opens doors for people, even if it means opening the door extra long because someone's a little bit further back and they have to take some time to catch up to him. This guy has integrity. So how does that affect his flying? How does that affect him as a pilot? You know, this is probably all of the data that Nathan is taking in through his observations. But the thing is, half the people watching the rehearsal won't see it as such when watching this show. This, amongst many other scenes, are throwaway scenes for people where they think that Nathan's just being awkward, standing in the corner and watching, and he's playing up an autistic character when he's not autistic. That is why this show is so genius. The way that an autistic person is watching it is so vastly different than non-autistic people. And that is also exactly why every single time I watch this show and I watch another scene of Nathan, I only understand him more and more, whereas people can watch every episode of his seasons and walk away feeling even more confused. Whereas for me, I get less and less confused, more and more in tune, more locked in, and everything makes sense. Nathan isn't confusing, not if you understand him.
I visited Moody's home, where he still lives with his parents in the suburbs of San Diego, California. Hi.
Nathan's so cute. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to have to rewind that hi.
California.
Hi. I'm not sure if you guys want.
His voice is so gentle sometimes. It's so, I don't know. It's like a little warm blanket hugged around me. Hi. It's so cute. I don't know why, but I would feel so safe around Nathan.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm out eating right now. I'm just trying to do my study right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to say hi.
Hi.
Why does this feel like a sleepover when a guy's like, I dare you to call your crush and tell her that you like her? The way Nathan's just on his bed and he's like, and they're both looking at each other. It's just so cute. I don't think Nathan understands like how unintentionally cutesy he is, because he is so cutesy. He's so, my Shayla.
What?
How did it go, the shooting?
It's good. We're still doing it. I'm on a break right now.
I learned that they had been together for 2 years and lived several hours apart.
She's in school full-time and she works at Starbucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the way Moody talked about the relationship was strange. How often do you actually see each other?
Like, we haven't seen each other since January, and it's almost March now.
Do you think you're getting what you want from each other right now?
Yeah. Well, I think so, but I feel like over time it want more, you know, like we live together, you know, family, dogs, cats.
Right.
You know what I mean? But what can I do? Like,
well, why couldn't you?
Well, she would
just like talk to her about it.
But that's what can I do, you know? So we'll see how long it lasts. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You know, you can't.
What's gonna happen?
If she's gonna meet someone new.
So you think she?
Like, since she works at Starbucks all the time, she might meet someone at Starbucks.
Who? Customers?
Yeah. Well, so if a stranger comes in and meets her and they capture her attention and she entertains it, then she'll most likely compare, you know, the way that I've treated her or the way that I do treat her to how they treat her. And if she wants that, then she'll break it off for that. You know.
Why would you think that?
I don't know.
A random customer is going to treat her better than you do.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that could happen, you know?
Do you feel like you treat her not good?
No, I feel like I treat her amazing. But
Nathan's questions are so good. Oh my God. I'm having mental orgasms, I swear. Because Nathan asks the questions I would ask. Most people listening to this guy would be like, oh yeah, you guys will figure it out. I'm sure you guys will either end up together, it'll all work out, or if it doesn't, you guys weren't meant to be together and you'll find someone that you're meant to be with. People always say throwaway comments like that. But for Nathan, every time this guy says something, it just reveals another layer that has yet to be discovered. So when that guy's like, yeah, so maybe she'll just meet a customer and then she'll like him better. And then Nathan's like, well, does that mean you don't feel like you treat her well? And then most people will be like, whoa there, buddy. That is a very intense question. I was just saying that if she wants someone else, it'll happen and whatever. But Nathan's right. Like, these sorts of throwaway statements that a lot of people make reveals a lot about our subconscious. And a lot of the times it takes an autistic person who's a pattern recognizer to see all of these other things attached to that surface level thing that people reveal. And we see all the invisible attachments below the surface, and we're asking questions about those things. Does that mean you don't feel like you treat her well enough? Well, if you want to marry her, then why not make it happen instead of just leaving it up in the air? You know? So Nathan's questions are so valid, and a lot of people respond to this sort of line of questioning very differently. Some people get really triggered when autistic people ask these questions because they think that we're accusing them of something when we're actually just trying to understand you. They'll think, oh, are you insinuating I don't treat my girlfriend right? And then it's just like, no, I was just asking you if you think you treat her right, because the way that you talk about it sounds like you don't, since you're saying that she would fall in love with a random stranger that she meets at work. Like, that doesn't necessarily make sense. It's like the fight or flight response, right? Some people want to fight you when you're asking questions. Some people want to run away from the questions and avoid it. Some people, I've noticed, want to appease you as well, which is weird when that happens. So the way that they answer it is to make you feel good about yourself. And then you get confused because you're like, wait, I'm confused. This is about you, not me. You know? But yeah, interesting.
Okay.
But the
who's this customer you're afraid of? Who's this guy?
I don't know.
It seemed like Moody felt the trajectory of this relationship was outside of his control, without recognizing that he was the co-pilot here.
I know she wouldn't do that to me, but if she did, then it's gonna happen, you know?
But maybe his communication style was different on the job. Moody's airline operated out of a central hub at George Bush Intercontinental Airport.
I have to rewind that. He's eating a banana for his pre-flight meal. Is that
They
the
were
girlfriend?
in Moody's heart.
Hi.
You look good.
Thank you.
Hi. Hey, good to meet
Oh, she's
you.
cute.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks so much for doing this.
I know. Someone has to keep him company. No, I'm just playing.
I've always found that the relationships where I avoided talking about my true feelings were the ones that crashed the hardest. If it's okay, I'd like to talk to you both individually, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Great. So who wants to go first?
I guess I can go first.
I was gonna say nose goes. Yeah.
What was that? Nose?
Nose goes.
You had mentioned before, like, the thing at Starbucks with, like, her, you were worried maybe she was going to meet a customer.
Yeah, like something like that. Like anybody, you know.
Yeah.
If she met someone at the Starbucks line, you know.
But don't you feel if you asked about it, then you could lay that to rest and you could be like...
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just one of those weird things you just think about, you know.
Do you think not talking about it is the
Not talking about it is worse than talking about it. But then you also don't want to annoy your significant other by, like, bringing it up, because that could also destroy the relationship.
That's true. The solution shouldn't be to keep your mouth shut. The answer should be to communicate and resolve the issue together and let that bring you guys even closer together, because it gets you guys on the same team. And this is such a common issue a lot of autistic folks have in their relationships with others, because it is a neurotypical way of having relationships to just ignore problems and find roundabout ways to deal with it rather than directly dealing with it with each other. It's very autistic to just be like, yo, this is a problem. Let's tackle it together, right? And we come across this issue a lot when we, as the autistic person, bring something up and then people are constantly like, why are you always so critical? Why are you always bringing up issues? No one else has these problems. It's only you. And these moments make us feel so gaslit, because it's like, no, this is a problem that affects everyone. And a lot of other people see it too. It's just, for whatever reason, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to confront it. They don't want to bring it up to you. They would just rather go about things like it's not happening. And oh my God, you guys, I cannot even explain how much these moments make us feel so crazy and gaslit, because those problems are real. Other people see it too. It's just, for some reason, no one wants to confront it or bring it up, because it puts a target on your back. It makes you feel alienated, and that makes you feel viscerally on like a biological instinctual level, like you're risking your livelihood, which, I mean, it is, right? Like, people could literally get fired for stuff like that, because if the captain doesn't like you, they will get you fired. If your partner doesn't like you, they will break up with you, right? So as the autistic person, a lot of the times when we do want to confront these things, it's not because we're trying to ridicule you or, be critical even, or be problematic. It's actually the opposite. It's like, we want things to run smoothly. We want our relationship with you to run smoothly. We want to be on the same page. We want things to be good. We want to become closer and for everyone to be happy. But that can't happen if people think that the very process in which we do that, which is to point at the problem and resolve it together, is the bad guy, right? Like, if people continue to go on thinking that confronting issues and resolving it is the bad thing, then we will, one, never resolve issues, and two, always end up demonizing the autistic person or the neurodivergent person. And that is harmful in so many ways, not just subjectively, but it's also harmful in objective ways too, as Nathan's trying to prove, because it leads to actual tangible issues like plane crashes.
So is that something you feel like you would want to talk about then today?
Possibly. It would depend on if she's comfortable. That's up. Yeah, that's if she's comfortable.
Okay, so let me go check with her. Well, one thing Moody wanted to ask about was your job at Starbucks, and just, you talking to customers and just how those conversations go.
Yeah.
Is that
for sure.
So I have a perfect example of this, okay? How I tried to use direct communication and problem solving techniques with people in my life, and it just blew up in my face because they interpreted me doing that as harmful and negative. So in one of my jobs, I had 2 coworkers that I was friends with. They were behind closed doors together, right? One time, one of the coworkers was confiding in me about how they had planned to hang out one night, and the other coworker just completely flaked on them. And this coworker felt very abandoned. They felt like they weren't important. They were really upset because they spent the whole day getting ready for their little date that night. And I was like, oh, did you guys talk about it? And they were like, no. And then I was like, shouldn't you guys talk about it? Because it seems like a very resolvable issue, you know? Like, what if there's miscommunication and that coworker didn't know that you guys had like a definitive date that night, and they just, you know, had other things come up, but they didn't know it was that important to you. And if they had known, maybe they would have made more of a point to stick to the plans and follow through, things like that. But all of this to say, you wouldn't know unless you talked to them about it. Like, at the very least, just talk to them about it. And they were just like, no, it's like, it's whatever. I don't want to make it a big deal. And then I literally couldn't understand why they couldn't just talk to each other about it. And so I tried to be a good friend to this coworker. And when I was working a closing shift with the other coworker involved, it was just us 2, right? For any of you who's ever worked in the food industry and you've worked closing shifts, you guys know how close you get to your closing shift crew, because especially if you're working at a coffee shop, right? It's going to be very slow, and you're mostly going to be cleaning the coffee shop together and doing all this prep work and whatnot. So it's a lot of time to just talk to each other. And so I had a closing shift with this coworker, and we were already spending hours of our shift talking. And so I thought it was a really good time to bring up the thing. And I was like, hey, our coworker the other day was telling me how they were upset because they had a planned date with you and you didn't show up. They were really hurt by it, but it just doesn't seem like you're the type of person to carelessly flake on someone out of nowhere for no reason, because you're very, you know, detail oriented. You care a lot. I don't know. I just feel like you guys should talk about it, because I already asked them if they would talk to you about it, and they said that they wouldn't. They would just like keep it to themselves. So I think it would be good for you guys to just like talk through it together and resolve whatever is going on. That coworker was like, oh, that's weird. I didn't know that coworker was talking to everyone about our relationship. Like, we were supposed to just keep it secret and whatnot. And I was like, oh yeah, no, they told me. And it became like a whole thing, because after that, the other coworker now thought that I was backstabbing them. They thought that I was going behind their backs and telling everyone about their relationship. And they interpreted me talking to this coworker about the thing was me going behind their back and trying to sabotage their relationship, because I should have known that they were supposed to keep a secret. And the fact that I went to this coworker and was like, hey, like, I think you guys should work it out, was basically me trying to get this coworker to dislike how this coworker was telling everyone about their business and then break it off with them. So they basically thought that I had this like master plan of like ruining and sabotaging their relationship behind their back. And then they never talked to me again. And they got their whole clique at this coffee shop to stop talking to me too. And then none of it was spoken about. It was just one day, no one talked to me, and I didn't know what happened. No one would really like care to even acknowledge my presence. And then I was just like, what happened? And it wasn't until like months or years later where I was like, I think that coworker interpreted my actions, like my sincere actions of trying to get them to resolve, as malicious sabotaging. Isn't that crazy how easily autistic and non-autistic social differences can crash into each other?
Of course.
That's fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
More than fine.
Out of curiosity, how do they go?
No, everyone's different, and I feel like everyone has a different story to tell me, so I love hearing them. Like, they open up a lot to me.
Oh, really? You talk to them for a while? Like,
Yeah, no, and like with some of the customers, like we'll even hang out outside of work.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Like,
oh my gosh,
like we're
wait.
friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, coming from an ex-barista myself, the amount of enmeshment that happens in the coffee shop, you guys will be surprised. I've seen spouses cheating on each other in the coffee shop. I've seen spouses cheating with my coworkers and with other customers. I've seen my coworkers sleep with each other. I've seen coworkers become friends with customers and they go to school together. They become roommates. They become best friends outside of the coffee shop. I've seen so many different things. So yes, just because you're a customer and worker doesn't mean there isn't lines crossed. If you want to make those connections, it will happen even if you have the smallest little window of opportunity. It's just, are you going to take it and make it happen or not type of a thing? And is someone going to reciprocate that effort?
I've gotten a couple of things from work. I've gotten free shoes, free pants,
Really?
free sweaters.
Just from people
Yeah.
giving you stuff?
A customer. His name is Angel.
Angel?
Yeah. You know, I've kind of told people that I'm going to be leaving Starbucks soon.
Oh, yeah.
And then he wanted to give me a goodbye present.
Angel gave you that anklet? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sus. I feel like it's inappropriate for a guy customer to give you jewelry. That is really weird to me. Yeah. I don't know. That's crossing a boundary for me. Because even if it's meant platonically, if you aren't comfortable talking to your partner about it, or if you aren't talking to your partner about it at all, that is weird. That's not right. That's crossing a boundary. And if she doesn't think it's necessary or doesn't want to, then maybe she shouldn't be in a relationship. Because it's okay to not want to talk to someone about everything that's happening to you. But at the same time, when you're in a partnership with someone, you have to have a baseline of communication with each other. And if that baseline isn't met, then you either have to sacrifice to meet that baseline, or you're just not supposed to be in a relationship, because you get the benefits of a relationship, but you're not meant to put in the work to maintain the relationship in a respectful manner. And I feel like communication is the biggest thing that should be established with a relationship. Like, if you can't tell your own person, hey, my customer or my regular got me this thing and it's nothing, like there's nothing there, trust me, like we're not interested in each other, or like whatever it is, then yeah, that's not right.
How long ago was this?
Like maybe a week ago.
Is the person like hitting on you?
No, I don't think so. I'm like, oh, I really like that. And then they bring it for me.
Why do you think he's giving you gifts like that?
I think you really influence someone's life when you bring like positivity, like at Starbucks. Like it's something little, but it changes them.
And have you talked to Moody about this stuff, or?
No.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like it never came up, but if he's not asking about it, you should be the one telling him, right? Like, I hate when people mistake disinterest and apathy as like, oh, I'm not hiding anything. But it's like, yeah, you're not actively hiding something, but if you guys never talk about it or confront it, then like, how would you know what I'm saying? Like, hiding something would mean he would ask and she would actively not say it. But it's different when he's not asking because he's too scared and she's not bringing it up because she's too scared too, or she doesn't think it's necessary. But then the thing still remains hidden and untalked about, right? Like, that's the issue, is not necessarily the hiding or whatever. The issue is not talking about the thing, regardless of if it's hiding or avoiding.
I don't know. It never came up. But yeah, I'm comfortable talking about that. I don't feel like there's anything to hide in my life.
Some things are going to be hard for you to bring up.
Yeah.
But if you ever feel like your concerns are being ignored, I want you to like grab the yoke and take control of the plane. Okay?
Okay.
I don't know if
The
it'll work
yoke?
exactly, but the idea is to sort of fuse the motion with the emotions.
Will you be
Okay?
kind of like delegating or monitoring the conversation and like trying to get us to talk about things, or is it
It's
just
up to you.
okay? So
Yeah.
I have to.
Yes, it's up to you to bring these things up.
Okay, just bring up
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe this is
Okay, so I don't know these two people, obviously, but my initial read on this couple is that this is a really nice guy that tries to be as hands-off and as non-problematic as possible. Even though he has concerns, he will ignore those concerns because he doesn't want to stress his girl out. And he would rather just like let her do anything and everything, forget and not think about the potential problems, than actually bringing the problems up, because he believes that someone would rather stay with him if he is more amicable, easy to get along with, and agreeable, than if he were to actually be more assertive, communicative, and confrontational. And when I say confrontational, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean confrontational in a way where they are wanting to talk about something head on and face to face. And my read on her is that she's very like open, and she kind of lets her energy be received by anyone anyhow type of a thing. Like she's very extroverted, go with the flow. She would literally just like be nice to everyone and receive anything anyone wants to give her. Both of them don't have boundaries is the thing. And both of them avoid issues in different ways. Like he tries to pass it off as easygoing. She tries to pass it off as like, oh, it doesn't really matter that much. It's not that big of a deal. Like she's the type of person that will go on dates with a guy and receive jewelry from them, and she will think that it's just a friendship just because she sees it as a friendship, without realizing that the guy might be doing those things because he likes her romantically, but as long as she sees it as a friendship, it's fine and it isn't crossing boundaries, because she's just like, it's not a big deal. Like I'm not hiding anything. Like I'm nice to everyone, right? But there's issues when people like this come together, because when there's no boundaries and there's only avoidance, there's all of these unresolved issues that never really get fixed because no one's bringing it up together. And the thing is like, these people also don't necessarily fulfill each other either. So if they're not already doing this, they will get to a point where they're doing this more and more. They're gonna try to get their needs met elsewhere because they're not growing intimately together. They're not intimately intertwined. A part of intimacy is communication, honesty, sincerity. And if you're constantly avoiding every honest, sincere conversation, which oftentimes is interlaced with not positive conversations or not fun conversations or more serious conversations, you're not able to connect or grow intimately together. You're just like surface level friends or partners that may look good in pictures together or be someone that you bring to family parties or friend gatherings, and it works that way. But at home behind closed doors, you're miserable. This is why so many couples during quarantine COVID lockdown ended up getting divorced or hating each other so much, because their actual relationship behind closed doors, the relationship built between them two, had no substance, no integrity, no value outside of the social construct of what they served each other socially. When those social frameworks aren't there anymore, because you can't go out, you can't do all these social things, you guys are miserable around each other because there's no actual connection there, no actual vulnerability, no actual intimacy, right? Everyone has different needs. Some people care more about those social frameworks and how well your partner fits into that framework. I tend to be the type of person where I don't need anyone to know what we have or what goes on between us. I just need us to know that. So an example of that is I don't really want a wedding. I don't believe in weddings. If I ever find a life partner that I want to settle down with and marry, I would rather just have us tell our vows to each other in the privacy of us two and just elope together to a country that we want to visit. I don't want a whole ceremony. I don't want a wedding dress. I don't want all these people watching us commit to each other, right? Like, I don't need that, because our marriage is for us two and it's between us two, and that's what I want, right? Like, I don't want people to hear the vows that I wrote for my partner, because that's so intimate, that's so private for me. And it would mean so much more if my partner wrote very sincere, genuine, heartfelt vows that only I get to hear. I mean, maybe our kids, if we have kids, would hear it too. But that's about it. Like, I don't need everyone else to see what's going on between us two. And some might say that's unhealthy. Some might say that's like weird, depending on their social norms. But for me, it's like, again, social differences, right?
Something that the FAA never considered. That you could use the emotions from pilots' personal relationships to train them for the cockpit.
It's a little odd, but would you be willing to dress as a pilot?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
All right, we're all set up. The airplane's all ready to go for El Paso.
Let's go to El Paso.
Watch this be some sort of kinky foreplay for these two.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so those are these. And you don't touch anything?
A pet peeve of mine is when people just like
I
mess
need to
with stuff.
fidget with something.
I don't know, that's bothering me.
They have such weird chemistry.
It's bothering me. Anyway,
Not the
so
point.
so if you had customers coming in,
At Starbucks?
yeah,
Okay.
and you had hypothetically you had a significant other who was like, oh, asking you, oh, are you getting hit on at Starbucks? Would you be honest with them and
Yeah.
tell them? Okay, so do you currently get hit on at Starbucks?
Yes.
A lot?
Yes.
A lot.
Okay, so I think like getting hit on is like one thing, and then if they like try to ask for a number or like further than that.
When Moody grabbed the controls, I realized how intense this conversation was getting for him.
So in my mind, I was like, why would this guy invite you out to coffee and then buy you a coffee and then you sit for a couple hours if he wasn't hoping for something more?
So like with my friends, like I
Yes,
try to
yeah.
make it like clear, like if I have a guy friend, like I try to make it clear that like, oh, like this is friendship, like that's all it is.
I'll be honest, I don't buy people coffee, like I don't buy girls coffee unless we're on a date.
Okay.
This was good.
Oh my
Moody was
God.
actually speaking his mind, and she was
This is crazy. I literally predicted that this would happen. Holy shit. Irene, your pattern recognition skills sometimes. I'm pretty good sometimes, I will say. I'm not going to be correct 100% of the time, but that was pretty good, right, you guys? Like, that was pretty on point. Like, the fact that he is avoiding problems, not because he doesn't have them, but because he doesn't want to be someone that's seen as an issue or confrontational, so he just avoids it to seem like he's easygoing, when in reality, she's actually easygoing in a way where she doesn't care. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not into him, so it shouldn't matter. Like, I should just be able to accept gifts. I should be able to just go out on coffee things with guys, and it's not a date because I don't think it's a date. Like, I would go on a coffee thing with a friend, like a female friend, and spend hours talking to her, and that doesn't have to be romantic. So why should it be romantic with a guy? And this is just I literally predicted this. Oh my God. And this is why that guy avoids confronting things with her, because they're fundamentally different in a way that doesn't work out. So you could be fundamentally different in a way that's compatible sometimes, where one person is lacking, you actually have strengths in, so you guys balance each other. But other times you could be fundamentally different in a way where she thinks that going out on dates with men is platonic and casual, whereas for him, he thinks that's crossing a boundary. So this doesn't work out, because in order for them to compromise, she would have to say no to going out with men, when in reality, she would see that as unnecessary. Like, why should I stop socializing with people just because you're uncomfortable? So either she would have to sacrifice her social life, or he would have to sacrifice his comfortability and his security for her sake because he thinks it's inappropriate. But either way, no one's going to be happy, right?
listening.
I get what you're saying. Like me, like I wouldn't go out with somebody if like I think that's what their intentions are.
Well, he sent you flowers, so it must have been
Yeah, he
something.
like I don't think so. I think they're friend gifts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, what?
No.
I agree with him in this situation. I feel like you should have boundaries with things. There's situations where you have to consider what the other person is thinking, feeling, and wanting, and you adjust how you respond based off of them too. She's the type of person where she doesn't care what you want or don't want. She only cares about what it means to her. So if you give her a gift, all she's thinking is, this is a nice gift, I like it. Or if you're asking her out to get coffee, she's just thinking, oh, I'm going out to see a friend. But the problem comes in the fact that, what if someone's giving her a gift because they're interested in her? What if someone's asking her out on a date because they want to date her? So when she's saying yes to these things, in her mind, she's just receiving these things that people are giving her as friends. But in their mind, they think that she's reciprocating that same interest. And that's the problem, right? And I feel like that's the root of the issue, is that it would be completely different if she was aware of what these other people want from her and she still made the decisions she's making, versus feigning ignorance and being like, anyone should be able to get coffee together and it doesn't have to be romantic. You know, that sort of ignorance is just, it doesn't work. It's not respectful for not only your partner, but the other person involved too. You're also disrespecting their time and their efforts, their energy. So if you're wanting to be considerate, you would be like, oh, I know this person's interested in me, but I still think I would get along with them as friends. And I want to be able to, you know, get to know each other as friends, but at least confront the actual thing and be considerate of everyone involved, instead of being like, everything's fine, you know, everything will work out. I think it's friends. I think it's okay. And it's just like, okay, but what about what everyone else is thinking? You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah.
So there's no resolution here. Yeah, I could see why he doesn't bring things up with her, because she makes the conversation seem like it's not a big deal and you're the one making a big deal out of it. Not only that, but there's no resolution. So logistically, for him or anyone else who relates to him, regardless of gender or whatever, if you're put in this position again and again, you reach a point where you're like, I just won't bring things up, because not only does it not get anywhere, but it also puts me and my partner in a really strained position where they think I'm bringing up all these issues that don't matter and isn't an issue. And then I feel like I'm the needy one who's causing all these problems. When in reality, there's something going on with her. Because on the surface, she's saying all the right things. If I thought that it was crossing a boundary, I wouldn't have gone out with this person. Because yes, that sounds nice, but at the end of the day, you're going out on dates with men, you're accepting their gifts of jewelry, you're accepting their gifts of flowers, and you're genuinely thinking that they're all platonic gifts, okay? At this point, they can't get anywhere with it. She doesn't want to stop because she doesn't think it's a problem. Now he's put in a position where he has to convince her that it's a problem, because that's what it's going to take for her to stop and respect that he's uncomfortable and do something about it. But that's not his job to do. His job isn't to sit there and convince her of a reality that she is not living, right? If she genuinely thinks that's okay, then there's nothing he could say or do to make her believe otherwise. And that is an issue and is going to continue to be an issue in all of her relationships because of her lack of boundaries. You know what I'm saying? She's the type of person that will think that there's nothing wrong with something so long as she thinks there's nothing wrong with it. So let's say she wants to go out to Vegas with her friend, but her friend is a married man with kids, and they're going on this Vegas trip when it's his wife's birthday weekend. This is the type of girl that's like, but it's just friends. We're just going out. We're having fun. We would go to Vegas any other time. It's just we had tickets for this weekend. It's not like we're purposefully trying to be weird about it. This is normal. This is okay. And it's just like, girl, come on, dude. I could see why he doesn't bring up issues. He's probably tried, and he's probably tried to be nice about it too and logical about it. But I mean, you can't be logical with someone who's just denying reality. If she genuinely thinks a customer giving her jewelry and flowers is normal and platonic, I mean, I guess to each its own. And if it makes him uncomfortable, this is an impasse. Do you settle for it or do you move on? And a lot of people, unfortunately, settle, or they try to force their opinion onto each other, which is also unhealthy. You know, like some partners are going to be more aggressive than him, where he will not rest until he gets his needs met, which is for her to stop seeing customers like that. But then that becomes an issue because she's being controlled. It's not a good situation. She either needs to be single so that she could freely go out on platonic dates and receive platonic gifts from whoever she wants, or she needs to be with someone who does the same things so that they both are living the same lifestyle and have the same values and they're not rubbing each other the wrong way.
Hey, that was great. Yeah, that was a good. I think we should just stop here, maybe, right?
That was a great conversation.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah.
You had a good chat?
That was not a good chat. There's no resolution.
You know, this is still a work in.
I can't imagine he felt good about it.
We're gonna figure it all out, but it was good to, see, just want to make sure everyone's happy and, yeah, I don't know. You want to give each other a hug or?
Sure, I guess.
Nathan, he's trying so hard to
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
mediate, but this is so awkward. Like, Nathan knows that this situation's not good. I wonder if these two are still together. I hope to God they're not still together. I hope she's found a happy relationship with one of her platonic customers and he's just doing his own thing with someone that's more compatible with him and doesn't make him feel crazy for asking them to not receive flowers and jewelry from other people.
It was good that they finally talked about stuff. But after the training, the vibe in the room was weird. I wasn't sure what it meant. It was like we were back in the pilot's lounge. Two people together, but not sharing a word. Nice.
Yeah.
So the vibe was off because they felt exposed. Mostly her. I think the guy is less awkward about it because he probably knows that he doesn't look like the one in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? The girl was very obviously in the wrong there. Even though she's defensive about it the whole time, she probably instinctually knows that it's not going to be perceived well. But the thing is does she think that's the case because the world is unfair, or does she think that because she genuinely is wanting to take accountability for herself? Most people are going to be the type that's like, everyone's against me, no one understands, like the world is so cruel. In reality, you're receiving gifts from customers, which is inappropriate, and you're receiving gifts from male customers while you're dating another guy, which is another inappropriate thing. And when your male partner is telling you it makes him uncomfortable, you're telling him it's no big deal and you're not going to change. You're going to continue receiving gifts. You're going to continue going on these dates because it's not a problem. And you're basically not only invalidating his discomfort, but you're telling him that it's going to be an ongoing issue that is going to keep happening because it doesn't need to be resolved. So yeah, she's problematic. She's problematic, and I think there's a disconnect for her. She's being defensive on an instinctual level, but I think there's another part of her that knows that there's nothing to defend there because she's in the wrong. And I think that's really throwing her off here. That's why she's so like, she was so extroverted and kind of bubbly when we first meet her. But at the end of that scene, she was just like very closed off and like just closed off, right? It's because she knows.
Maybe for pilots, there's a reason they hold stuff in. They're transporting people through the sky. They can't be distracted by their feelings.
Enjoyed today's video? then become a YouTube member or join Patreon to gain full access to all of my reaction videos. See you there.